Hey guys, welcome back. This time on the channel, we are getting the GC8 ready for the highway because I am driving it down to California for NPMC and to see a couple of my friends. Stay tuned. All right, so last time you saw the GC8 was when we were throwing a set of door panels in the interior. Did a little bit of work to the front end by centering the steering rack, adding new sway bar end links, and giving it a little bit of a toe adjustment just to get everything sort of straight. I've been driving the car around, it's doing fine. Squealed the timing belt on the water pump because it froze up a little bit. No big deal, still running fine, doesn't seem to be damaged at all, so I think we're okay. So on this episode, we got a few things to take care of. I've got a list going here. Starting with, we're gonna throw some new springs in the back of the car because the stock springs that came with it are pooched and they like to sag with any sort of weight on the back, and the car squats really badly, causes a lot of understeer. That's also due to the fact that the rear sway bar mount is broken, which we are gonna remedy as well. I have to weld up a new plate and bolt the sway bar back up, get it adjusted. So we got some rear suspension work to do. Aside from that, we got to do an oil change, got to clean the car. I got to adjust the e-brake because the e-brake does not work at all. Whether we got to find new hardware in the junkyard or just order a whole new set of brake parts, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Also got to bleed the coolant because I did drain a bunch of it out and put a bunch of new mix in there. So we're gonna properly bleed it, get all the bubbles out, make sure that's all good so we don't have any overheating issues. Just a whole bunch of nitpicky stuff. I just wanna make sure it's good for the road. And then we're gonna clean it up, bolt the rear seat down, and get ready for some adventures down the I-5. The I-5 is not that big of an adventure, but you know, we'll find some fun stuff to do on the way. And we're gonna see a bunch of friends down in Anaheim, so I'm pretty stoked. Oh, and of course I forgot to mention it because I've tripped over it like 20 times filming this intro. We gotta throw a new drive shaft in, so we're gonna do that as well. The reason for that is I think the single piece drive shaft that I made is just a little bit too short, so it doesn't quite seat in the tail shaft, and I think it's unbalanced. It's a game you play when you get parts made. Anyway, we're gonna throw a stock 04 and up STI drive shaft in it, and hopefully that remedies the vibrations we've been getting because they're pretty bad. So let's get to it. Got the GC jacked up, took the wheels off, just started doing a quick once-over visual inspection. Discovered some more post-over crest rally damage. Is if you look over at that floor pan there, you know, it's got its shape to it, but it's all kind of similar plane. And on day 0, we went down a pretty gnarly mud track that had a lot of big rocks. Well, if you notice this right here, kind of got a nice woo. Whoops. Yeah, I nailed it pretty good. I can see a chunk up there where it hit the little cross member piece. The downpipe is dented. Back here looks sort of okay. There's a couple scratches on the exhaust, but I guess I didn't notice that before, but you can see this one where it just absolutely smashed the floor pan. No big deal. Next time I have the carpet out, I can basically stand in the car and stomp that flat. It won't be the end of the world. Oh, actually, you know what? That might be the end of the world because the seam there is separated from the floor. Probably in the spring, I'm gonna chassis wash the whole thing again, clean off a bunch of the crusties, and just give it a good once over. It deserves it. It's been a hell of a car in the short time that it's been completed. So anyway, moving on. First thing we're gonna do, unbolt these here shocks and get some new springs on them. So basically the line's got to come off the caliper, thread it through the mount on the shock. Oh, you can see right here. So you got to take it out of there. So this comes off, you slide it back through this little bracket, and then you can take the shock out, and we'll take the spring off the shock, replace that, put it back. While it's down, the rotor of the caliper will come off. We'll adjust the e-brake situation and loosen the handle so that we actually have the right amount of clicks, and then it'll all go back together. hopefully be mucho better. Gotta loosen off the line of the caliper, which is gonna start hissing fluid immediately. Up bleeding a little bit. Not by much. Just fish this guy through. And just kind of dangle it up so that it's got to work against gravity to leak. Woo! That is a whole lot of junk. Okay. Do I recommend compressing the spring this way to the top hat? No. Is it the only way to do this job for this car? Yes. Luckily, these ones don't need to be compressed all that much. About that much. Andrew, why do you work on the floor? You have like 2 nice workbenches. I don't know, I'm stupid. All right, so these are basically the same, but hopefully this takes care of some butt sag. Right in the groove. I'm gonna do the sketchy again and tighten it right to the shock body. Easy. Everybody's happy. Right. All right, new coil in the back. So I'm really hoping that it doesn't sag and pooch out as much, but time will tell. So I'm gonna repeat the process on the other side and then we'll move on to fix the e-brake. All right, next hors d'oeuvre of business is I got to take the center console out. That's not too hard. Shift boot and everything just kind of pops out with the knob off, and these panels are just clipped to each other. So you lift this one up, and undo these screws, and you can get access to the e-brake setup, which is down under there. So we got to get this whole thing out, and then there's a cable that I'm going to loosen all the way off on the e-brake, And then we're gonna kind of tighten it until we get like, I think you need 8 clicks of engagement for it to pull the cable properly and separate the shoes evenly. So I'm gonna pull all that out, adjust it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, and get my goddamn e-brake to work, because it has not worked since I installed the new braking setup. 7 or 8. Nope. Hey guys, next day, I fiddled around with the e-brake for quite a while yesterday and quite a while today, and I finally got it to bite better than it was. Probably still not proper, but I think it's gonna work. I just couldn't figure out the right mix of tension on the handle and touching the pads to the inside of the drum, and yeah, it's, I don't know. Maybe I've got the wrong shoes. The spreaders look like they might be too small because they are for a different brake setup. So I can actually make them. I might just make wider ones going forward, but anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that right now because I'm sick of messing with it. So everything's kind of dealt with. We got the new springs in yesterday, that's all done. E-brake's adjusted, so I can cross that off the list. So now I'm gonna throw the calipers back on, hook up the brake lines. We're gonna have to re-bleed everything, so we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna quickly wrap up the rear brake setup and everything, and then we're good to go. Brake bleeding time, and this time I'm actually gonna give you a tech tip because I see so many people online, TikTok, Instagram, all these fucking dudes in their garages bleeding brakes the wrong way on their own. If you got a second pair of hands, great, you can do the, you know, somebody on the bleeder, opening it and closing it. If you're like me and you work by yourself a lot, you need to get one of these. This is like a third man bleeder. What it's got is a hose that drops all the way down the bottle. Put a little bit of brake fluid in there so that it does not suck up air, and it vents the air out this side, attaches to your bleeder, up this sitting on the bleeder, crack your bleeder open and just pump. And what this does is it'll force all the air out, it'll vent the air out this tube here, and then what'll happen is it won't allow air to go back into the brake caliper or the braking system. So stop like doing it yourself, opening the bleeders, let them gravity bleed, all that garbage. Like, use this. Use one of these. You can get them at your auto parts store too. They're like 10 bucks. I think this one was like 20 because it's got a fancy magnet and it came with like a stainless steel hook that you can hang it on stuff with. Super handy. Stop bleeding brakes the wrong way. This is the way to do it if you're on your own. All right, let's bleed them. Never done this before, but I bled it exactly to full. So that's pretty sweet. Got pedal, everything's good, no leaks. Fingers crossed that the master is still good. I'm sure it is. I'm gonna knock on wood because that freaks me out. Now I'm gonna move on to the rear sway bar. So basically, I'll insert the footage right here. I was making reels and I cut some footage like sideways of me mocking up and welding together the first mount for the fix. Basically, so these mounts are just kind of, you know, stamped sheet metal, and this one broke. I think the bolt backed out and it just wiggled and sheared off. So to remedy that, I got some flat stock off the shelf, and I just made a new plate that actually like boxes it, and it sits flat, so there's no contour to where the frame rail mounts, which is good. So this will just bolt up, and if I need to or want to, I can actually box in one side of it or both sides of it if I want to, but it's not really necessary. It's going to be overkill. Hopefully the welds hold. What I might do is once I finish this and we mount it up and mock it up, I might take it down to U-Blast and then sandblast it and paint it properly. So this is what we're moving on to next. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit. We'll come back in a little while. If I don't pick this up till tomorrow, it's because I have husband and fatherly duties. So I'll see you right now. All right, so we got the, looks like oh boy, I melted my lens. Shit. I don't think it shows up too bad. Oh well, anyway, I guess that's what I get for throwing sparks at the camera. I don't think you can notice it. Anyway, when I use the cinematic shots, I'll just change my better lenses. So I got the sway bar mounts all welded out. They're good to go. I'm not gonna throw them on just yet. I did test fit them and I wallered out the holes a little bit so I can get a little bit of play just to make sure I got a nice straight shot and I don't strip out bolts. I'm gonna take them over to U-Blast tomorrow and sandblast them, and then I'm just gonna slap a coat of paint on them. We'll be able to install those. So I'm calling that done because installing the sway bar takes all of 5 minutes. Knock on wood. Crossed a bunch of stuff off the list. So I think next I'm going to install the drive shaft, and I think that's about all we can get to today. Ow. I'm groaning a lot. I got a pinched nerve in my neck. Basically, it's become a chronic problem now. It happens like once a year at least. And so by the end of the day, I can barely move my entire left side. So I lose dexterity in my hand and all that kind of good stuff. Sucks. Oh. Slide her down. You're gonna get a little bit of fluid out of the trans most likely. Not the end of the world. And there it goes. Don't drop the drive shaft on your head, whatever you do. You will have a bad time. Okay, can't bend that way. I gotta cut, guys. Sorry. I gotta bail. I can't do this right now. I'm really fucked up. Oh. 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 Fuck. Oh. I'm gonna get out of here with one arm. I can't do this one. Shit. I got some bolts to find. And an arm to stretch out. Oh. I'll see you guys later. Yeah, those tires look kind of small. That's okay though. They're winters, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so I've got the one-piece drive shaft out of the car. I'm gonna drop it off at Pat's and see if it's out of balance. They'll probably turn it around for tomorrow. As a backup, Aaron at Boost Barn, big shout out to you, buddy, has offered up the drive shaft out of his race car. It's just a stock 04 STI drive shaft, but in theory, it should fit. The flange for the carrier on the one that I have does not fit the GC8. I don't know why. It's the same drive shaft part number. It's just a Dorman reman, but maybe it was reman with a different carrier pickup or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so the worst case scenario, we go with the drive shaft that has worked with a vibration, and you just have to keep an eye on it. Best case scenario is getting it balanced and rotating it fixes it. And if that doesn't work, we've got Aaron's, and he's happily said, like, yeah, take it, drive it to California. You know, he's gonna get a one piece in his car, but just return it whenever. So sweet, I'm kind of set. Super cool. Aaron, thank you very much for letting me borrow this. I will bring it back to you in probably worse condition. I am very sorry for that, but the U-joints seem pretty good. I think everything's okay with it, and we'll see if it kills that vibration. After that, I headed over to a place called Langley U-Blast, where I literally sandblasted these brackets that I made in like 2 minutes flat. It was awesome. They have big industrial sandblasters, glass cabinets and such, and you pay a couple bucks, take your shit and sandblast it, done. Anyway, my neck's feeling pretty good, so I'm gonna venture underneath the car, pull out that drive shaft that doesn't fit, throw in the one from Aaron at Boost Barn. Hopefully it works. And yeah, we're one step closer. After that, basically all that's left is install the sway bar. Oh, I gotta paint those brackets. But after that, it's just maintenance. So oil change, coolant bleed, and clean the car up. And as for the tire situation, there is still no snow in the passes going to California, and I do not want to take a skinny winter tire all the way down there, just for the fact that, you know, it's not going to have the same grip in the rain, and I just don't feel comfortable being in the rain on skinny winters. I'd rather have an all season. So it's going to be a game day call. If they get snow in between now and the time I go, or like storms are going through or anything, I'll take the winters. If not, we'll roll on to all seasons. We should be okay. I've also got, I can get cable chains if I need to as well. Not a big deal. So, time to stop rambling. Let's throw the drive shaft in. Sway bar brackets are chilling in front of the heater. Coat primer on them. So I'm gonna let those hang out for an hour or two, and then I'll shoot them with some black. I actually had an oil change in stock, had the filter and everything, so I'm just gonna run and grab bolts for that drive shaft, finish slamming that in, and then we'll do an oil change and coolant, and this will be wrapped up. GC looks like it's ready to tackle the Monte Carlo rally. Snowy pass. The back is jacked up a lot. Even with, like, it's got a smaller tire, so it's gonna open up the wheel well a bit. Like you can see on the front, it's got some more clearance, but that is gnarly amount of difference. So those old springs were pretty pooched. Guess I'll see when I get the bigger 16s on there, that see how much more it takes up. And it's also got a settle, so I gotta drive it. So I'm gonna throw the bolts for the rear sway bar in right now and take for a spin. Oh, I gotta fix up the interior because the console's out. After that, we'll go. All right, well, I'd say pretty well successful. Back sits way better, rides way better, doesn't like slam. It's actually got like travel. Pretty happy with it. Back end feels tighter, the sway bar is doing its job, so pretty sweet. I'm happy. Cheap fixes, and the car's doing better than ever. All right, gave the brakes another bleeding, and seems to have worked. Got the pedal back, feels good. I think the drive shaft has killed the vibration, although I have to highway test it, which I'm gonna do tomorrow because I'm absolutely wrecked right now. My shoulder is done for. The shop is an absolute war zone. The floor is disaster, the shelves are disaster, the benches are disaster. So I gotta call it for now and clean up and kind of get ready to just once over the car and clean it and get all that stuff ready and pack and get ready for the road. Game day decision, if it starts to snow on all the mountains and stuff, I'll run the winters, no big deal. If not, I'm gonna switch back to the all seasons because they'll just be better. So, I'll catch up with you guys when I get back down here tomorrow, or in your case, about 5 seconds later. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for this video. I was gonna try and get out and get some more driving footage, but honestly, I've got way too much to do. I've got to button up a few more little tiny things that are really not relevant to the video on the car, and I've got to edit this video and the video for the week before this one comes out, all on the same day. So it's gonna be a long one. There will be plenty of action with the GC8 coming. We are taking off in 2 days for Anaheim, California to go to SEMA's NPMC conference and of course see my friends down there. It's gonna be a good time. I'm really excited. This thing's running good. Drove it around today, highway tested it, no vibration, super excellent. Aaron, thank you again for lending me your drive shaft. Super kind of you. I will bring it back to you as soon as I can. Anyway guys, thank you for hanging out in the shop with me. I really appreciate you stopping by. Please take a minute to go down, hit that subscribe button, sign up for the notifications and all that good stuff. You can hit me up on social media and Instagram, Facebook, Threads, all that stuff. I got it all. You'll find it in my link down below. All right guys, as always, be kind, drive hard, get your projects done, and I'll see you on the road. Have a good one.